There's a lake in Tanzania so caustic it can turn dead animals into eerie stone-like statues. And just a few hours away, the Earth still holds footprints from humans who walked here 3.6 million years ago. What secrets could a lake hold if it can turn life into stone? This is not a safari class. This is not a tour of what you've already seen on postcards. This is a journey into a country where the Earth writes its memories into stone, ash, fire, and water, and never forgets them. Get ready to see the planet like you've never imagined it before. A place where lakes turn red, volcanoes ooze alien lava, and ancient footsteps are preserved so clearly you can still imagine the breath of the creatures who made them. A place where people live between tradition and tomorrow, where wildlife moves like rivers, and where you can sleep underwater as the Indian Ocean glows around you. Tanzania is alive in ways that defy reality. Tanzania, where the Earth remembers everything. The lake that turns animals to stone. Northern Tanzania, a land where dust meets sky, and where the boundaries between life and death can blur in unexpected ways. Would you dare to step close to a lake that can kill with a touch? Here, at the edge of the Great Rift Valley, lies a lake that looks almost unreal, like a painter tipped a palette of crimson, rose, and blood into a basin, and then forgot to wash it out. Lake Natron. A soda lake with a pH so extreme, around 10.5, that it can burn skin, blind eyes, and preserve dead animals in mineral crusts that resemble eerie sculptures. Step closer, but one wrong move could leave you a permanent part of its art. At first glance, it seems like a place designed to repel life. Its waters shimmer with a chemical intensity that feels more science fiction than real geography. The air smells faintly of minerals. The shoreline is littered with shapes that, for a moment, look like creatures frozen in time. Birds that strayed too close. Bats touched by the lake's spray. Feathers coated in the lake's minerals, beaks fixed in their final pose. Bodies encased as if carved from pale ash or forgotten marble. It's a gallery of nature's deadliest creations. It's easy to imagine this lake as a monument, a place where missteps turn into memories written in stone. And yet, in a twist that defies everything your instincts tell you, this deadly lake is one of the most important nurseries in Africa. How can a place of death become a cradle of life? This is the breeding ground of the lesser flamingo, the vibrant pink birds whose plumage looks almost as though it was painted by the lake itself. Thousands of flamingos gather here, stepping delicately across the caustic shallows, feeding on the lake's red algae, which thrive in its extreme chemistry. These algae give the water its surreal color and give flamingos their iconic pink. Life finds a way in the harshest of places. And the danger? Ironically, it's exactly what protects them. Most predators avoid Lake Natron entirely. The heat, the alkalinity, the toxic shallows, all of it forms a natural fortress around the nests. The flamingos raise their chicks in relative safety, guarded not by cliffs or forests, but by one of the most inhospitable environments on Earth. Here, danger itself becomes protection. So how can one of the deadliest lakes on Earth also be one of the safest nurseries for flamingos? Because in Tanzania, survival often belongs to the creatures bold enough or adapted enough to embrace the planet at its most extreme. Adaptation is the ultimate superpower. But if the lake preserves death, just a few hours away, the Earth has preserved something far older and far more alive. Time itself leaves its fingerprints here. Footprints from another time. Tanzania is not just a place where animals migrate or lakes calcify the fallen. It's a place where the planet itself acts as an archivist, storing the movements of ancient beings with impossible fidelity. Imagine walking where humans once walked millions of years ago, literally. Near the village of Laetoli, the ground beneath your feet holds a secret that took millions of years to reveal. In volcanic ash hardened by time and geological chance lie footprints, preserved from an age before cities, agriculture, or language existed. From an age when our ancestors moved across this land, not as rulers of the world, but as vulnerable creatures navigating a dangerous ecosystem. These footprints are echoes of lives long vanished. Hominin footprints, more than 3.5 million years old, pressed into soft ash that later turned to stone. A record so clear that you can still see the arch of the foot, the heel-to-toe stride, even hints of how fast they were walking. It's one thing to see bones in a museum. It's another to stand in a place where ancient beings once stood, walked, and lived. What stories could a footprint tell if it could speak? You can literally walk beside the frozen footsteps of ancestors who crossed this land millions of years ago, and we still argue over who exactly they were and what they were doing. Some say it was Australopithecus afarensis, the same species as the famous skeleton Lucy. Others debate whether the tracks show a family moving together or individuals walking at different times. Perhaps a child skipping between adults or a pair walking closely side by side. Even millions of years later, mystery remains. The volcano with alien lava. In northern Tanzania rises a peak that looks almost unassuming compared to the giants of East Africa. It's not the tallest, nor the widest, nor the most symmetrical, but it is the strangest. What if a volcano could break all the rules? All Doinyo Lengai, the mountain of God. A volcano unlike any other on Earth. Most volcanoes erupt molten rock, glowing with orange heat, spitting fire and steam. But Lengai doesn't follow those rules. Its lava is nitrocarbonatite, a rare type of carbon-rich lava so unusual that for decades, scientists didn't believe such a thing could exist. Black lava, cooler than normal, and utterly alien. It erupts black, not red. It flows like hot oil, not molten stone. And it's cooler than typical lava. So cool, in fact, that it doesn't always glow in the dark. When it pours down the mountain, it looks like liquid ink spilling over the earth, or like an oil slick descending in slow motion waves. When it hardens, it turns white under the sun, as if the mountain is covered with bleached bones or chalk, the earth painting in shades you've never imagined. Climbers who stand at the summit at dawn say the crater looks alive, bubbling like a cauldron of dark liquid metal. You hear the earth breathing. Slow, heavy, ancient. It's a volcano that feels alive and watching you back. It looks like someone poured hot black oil down a mountain, and scientists had never seen anything quite like it. The Serengeti's disappearing river of animals. The Serengeti, a name that conjures images of golden grass sweeping toward the horizon, acacia silhouettes against a violet sunset, and lions gazing across endless plains. But the Serengeti is not just a place. It's a pulse, a rhythm, a movement so immense it can swallow the horizon, a migration so vast it defies imagination, shaping the land and everything that depends on it. Every year, over 1 million wildebeest, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, move in a loop across Tanzania and Kenya, chasing food, water, safety, and survival. Imagine a river of life stretching as far as the eye can see. From the air, it looks like the land is flowing, a river made not of water, but of bodies. On the ground, you feel it before you see it, a distant rumble that grows into trembling earth, followed by a rising dust cloud and the sound of grunts, snorts, and pounding hooves. You can hear the heartbeat of 1 million creatures. This is one of the last great animal migrations on Earth, a living heartbeat across the plains. And every year, it repeats like clockwork. But what makes it even more astonishing is how suddenly it can vanish. One day, the horizon is alive with silhouettes, thousands upon thousands. The next day, silence, stillness, an absence that feels supernatural. It disappears, leaving only whispers of its passage. Underwater dreams in Zanzibar. Travel east, leave the mainland behind, and the landscape transforms. The golden plains of the Serengeti give way to turquoise waves, coral reefs, and islands that once connected continents, now jewels scattered across the Indian Ocean. Step into a world where water becomes a canvas. Zanzibar, Pemba, Unguja. Names whispered with the romance of spice routes and ancient trade, but today known for beaches so clear you can see your shadow on the seafloor, where the past and present float side by side. Here, Tanzania shows a softer face, but no less magical. On Pemba Island, there's a room unlike any other in the world. A floating structure anchored in the sea, with a bedroom not above the waves, but below them. Floor-to-ceiling windows reveal a living aquarium. Schools of fish drift by like characters in a slow, silent play. Rays glide overhead, At night, lights draw curious creatures to your window, and you fall asleep suspended in a world where the ocean is both wall and companion. Sleeping in a fishbowl, but better than any aquarium you've seen. One night you're sleeping in a room surrounded by fish. The next, you're glowing in the dark surf. On some nights, bioluminescent plankton drift close to shore. Step into the water, and every movement, every kick, every splash ignites the sea with pinpricks of light, as if the ocean is responding to your touch. The sea becomes alive under your feet. The Maasai and the modern world. The savannas of northern Tanzania are home to the Maasai, one of Africa's most iconic pastoral cultures. You've seen the images. Red shukas wrapped around tall, elegant figures. Beaded jewelry sparkling in the sun. The rhythmic adumu, the traditional jumping dance that seems to defy gravity. Cattle herds moving like quiet shadows behind them. But the reality is far richer than a photograph. And more complex than the stereotypes. The Maasai are living custodians of a land that has changed faster in the last century than in the previous 1,000 years. Their traditions, cattle herding, seasonal movement, community rights, continue even as roads, smartphones, schools, and tourism reshape the world around them. Tradition and modernity walking hand in hand. Children in bright school uniforms walk past cattle enclosures. Warriors check grazing routes using mobile apps. Families maintain ancestral rituals while navigating modern economies. The old and new coexist in striking harmony. How do you stay yourself when the whole world wants a photo of you? It's a question many Maasai wrestle with. They preserve their culture with pride, but also adapt with practicality, refusing to become a museum piece, choosing instead to be a living culture that evolves while anchored to its identity. Living history, not just history on display. If this journey through Tanzania left you wanting more, good. Because this is only the beginning. Every country on this planet has a story, but only a few hold on to their memories as fiercely as this place. And we're traveling to all of them. And you're invited along for the journey. So if you want to keep exploring strange landscapes, ancient mysteries, and the hidden corners of our world, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for the next episode. Until then, remember, in Tanzania, the earth doesn't just speak, it remembers. And so will you. What will the earth show you next?